Hey up guys, welcome back to another edition of Movies Read to Filth. Today's culprit, the live-action Disney adaptation of Artemis Fowl. Fowl being the operative word. A movie so bad that Disney thought it best to dump this film on Disney Plus the same day that Spike Lee released his new movie on Netflix, Defy Bloods, and Judd Apatow also released his movie, The King of Staten Island, on video on demand. I think this was in hopes so that people would just forget about it, not notice it, and it could just die a discreet death on Disney Plus. Well, sorry to tell you, Disney, but we noticed. In a worldwide pandemic, we are starved for new entertainment. So yeah, we will take what we can get, even if it is this stinking turd pile of a movie. And that's shade. It's actually really hot in here today, which is why I'm fanning. Woo! Full disclosure though, guys, I haven't read any of the Artemis Fowl books. Does it look like I read? The only reading I do is reading movies to filth. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the books, and I thought that this movie was utter garbage. I can't even imagine how the actual fans of the books are gonna feel when they see this disjointed, poorly acted, unengaging, confusing, soulless CGI fest of a movie. If I was the author of these books, I would be actually pissed off because I feel like this movie would actually stop people from reading the books because it's such a bad movie. I don't think it's even fair to call this a movie. It's been so heavily butchered in the editing room that it just feels like a bunch of scenes glued together to create some sort of Frankenstein's monster which resembles a movie, but isn't. Artemis Fowl is clearly a film which went off the rails somewhere in production. 125 million went into making this movie, but somewhere through the course of production, they realized they made a mistake, this wasn't working, they realized what they had on their hands was dire, and instead of pouring more money into it to try and fix it, they decided just to cut their losses and just say to the editing department, okay, here's the footage, glue it together, do the best you can, we'll dump it on Disney Plus and hope for the best. And yeah, the result is this horribly bungled, disfigured shell of a movie. It's so shit. I'd say about 40% of this movie is dubbed over. There are so many scenes where the characters don't actually say their lines like in the shot. Either they'll say their lines off screen with their back facing the camera, or the camera will be on the other actors and you'll see their reactions while the character talks. So you don't actually see a whole lot of acting because 40% of the dialogue is off screen. You don't actually see them delivering the lines.
You're not giving up, are you? Of course not, but I think I may know the problem. I'm not the one to find it.
So, how do we summon this mysterious finder of Aculos?
Fairies, of course.
You see what I mean? This scene has just been so butchered to death, you barely see the characters actually talking. It's also frantically edited together. It never stops to allow the characters or the scene to breathe. Every line just comes immediately after the next, as if we're trying to rush just to get to the end so it's over and done with. This film is 90 minutes long, and it somehow manages to feel both rushed and a complete drag. What's baffling though is that this is directed by Kenneth Branagh, a man who's proven himself a competent director with films like Henry V, Cinderella and Thor, but with Artemis Fowl, if I had known it was him directing this before I watched it, then I wouldn't have had the foggiest idea that this was a Kenneth Branagh film. It doesn't feel at all like his work. It's got none of his style, his charm. It feels so corporate and soulless. It's so manufactured and so dependent on CGI. Something's gone wrong here. Studio interference, something, but this can't have been what Kenneth Branagh had envisioned when he agreed to direct this film. I should probably talk about the plot anyways. So, Artemis Fowl is the story of a young criminal progeny called Artemis Fowl, played in this film by Ferida Shaw, and his dad, who's played by Colin Farrell, Artemis Sr., gets kidnapped by... The film doesn't even say who she is. She's just listed on IMDb as shadowy female figure. No bullshit. That's how amazing the villain of this movie is. Doesn't even have a name. Anyway, in exchange for his dad, Artemis has to find this magical MacGuffin item called the Aculos. I remember the name of it because this movie mentions the Aculos 30,000 times in the space of 90 minutes. He has to find the Aculos and trade him back for his dad. Alright? There's also some fairies that want the Aculos, as well as this dwarf character called Mulch, played by Josh Gad, and his character basically exists just to force feed all the exposition at the audience. He's the narrator of the film, and he'll just sit there, talk to the audience, and throw all the exposition at you in this weird, gravelly, Batman meets Olaf voice.
Oh no, this isn't about the father. This is about the son.
We all make choices, but Josh Gad, that was a choice. So let's talk positives. Let's see. This won't take long. I did like the costumes. Josh Gad looks like he's auditioning to play the role of Hagrid in a school play. But the fairy costumes are quite light. They have these emerald greens, flying jacket suits. I thought they looked pretty cool. And the score, while not being particularly memorable, was passable enough. Right, negatives! In the first 11 minutes of exposition, you heard me correct, 11 minutes, they make the fatal mistake of building a protagonist to an impossibly awesome degree. Like Josh Gad says to the audience, Artemis Fowl should not be underestimated. This boy is a genius. He's a world chess champion, an architect. He cloned a goat in the lab before he hit puberty. By painting this image of Artemis being this infallible, flawless progeny, you've created a character which is very difficult for the average moviegoer to get behind. Unless you're Robert Downey Jr. and you've got oodles of charisma and likability in your bag for the audience to like you. But sadly, that's just not the case with the kid that plays Artemis. Ferida Shaw, who plays Artemis, God bless him, I feel so bad. I don't like being mean about child actors, but there's no life in his performance. He delivers his lines like he just learned them on set that day. His delivery is so monotone, and he's playing a character who is so unlikable. When your film's primary character is a smarmy, cocky know-it-all, with no redeeming qualities about him, then it makes for a very difficult challenge for the audience to get behind this character. If he's not likable, then why should we root for him? He's a child who doesn't like being referred to as a child. Guess what, Artemis? In the eyes of the law, you are a child. I want to give Ferida Shaw the benefit of the doubt because the script was atrocious and there's so much of this film that sucks. It's not just him, but he definitely was not the right choice to lead such a big budget film when he's got no on-screen charisma or presence. The supporting cast aren't much better either. I would say the best performance for me was Holly Short as the fairy Lara McDonnell. At least she had a little bit of spunk and was kind of likable. Nonzo Inozie plays Artemis's right-hand man and butler, called Butler, but don't call him Butler. They make a point of this. You should never call him Butler or he'll snap. And yeah, they set that up. Does it ever come about again in the movie? No. Judi Dench has a surprisingly large part in this as the fairy commander Root, and she gets this one entrance scene where it's all big and grandiose, and she arrives and she goes, "Top of the morning to ya." Oh God. Oh, I feel so bad for Judi Dench. She's had 2 back-to-back maligned movies, Cats and then Artemis Fowl. It's not a good 2020 for Judi Dench. Nikesh Patel plays this centaur character, and oh my God, he gets some trash dialogue as well.
Hold on to your breakfast, Holly. This is going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh my God. There's one point where he actually goes, "Nay." They didn't add the sound effect of a neigh. They made him go, "Nay," and he actually gallops off like this. The writing is just so haphazardly all over the place. It's just full of puns, and yet it's so cringy. I didn't care about any of the characters. I wasn't invested in the story. The CGI also gets progressively worse as the movie goes on. Just wait until you see the scene with the troll. That's a tough watch. The climax of this film was confusing as hell, sloppy, and flat. I didn't get any sense of stakes. Not once did I think the characters were in danger. But yeah, it's a spectacularly bland finale. All right, so let's wrap this up, guys. Let's ask those questions. Firstly, would I watch this again? God, no. Question number 2, would I recommend it for you guys? Again, it's a big old no. I don't think even kids will enjoy this movie, so I can't recommend it for anyone. And question number 3, what score am I gonna give it out of 10? I mean, the costumes are nice and the music was alright, but God, everything else about this movie is just so awful. It's disjointed, it's inconsistent, it's poorly written, acted, directed. So I'm gonna give Artemis Fowl a score of 2.5 out of 10. But as always, guys, this is just one bloke's opinion. I want to hear from you guys. Have you seen this train wreck of a movie, Artemis Fowl? What did you think of it? Like it? Love it? Hate it? Despise it? Was it like pepper spray to the eyes for you? Whatever you feel, put your comments in the comment section down below. I want to hear from you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want more content than just like this, don't forget to click subscribe. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, any social media, it's in the video description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Harefield, and I'll see you next time.